Zodiac signs most likely to be rich in 2026. Why do some zodiac signs work for years without a breakthrough, while others suddenly reach the level of big money? It's not coincident there are clear patterns of character and decisions that open the door to wealth. Below are the signs in which this mechanism works most strongly. I will show you how to recognize them. If you think strategically, subscribe. Let's start with the first sign. The first sign we'll talk about is Libra. In 2026, they won't be looking for easy ways out. They'll take money where others will pass by. No fuss, no unnecessary words. No fancy plans that don't work. For Libra, this year will be a time of cold calculation. They will suddenly stop wasting energy on things that don't pay off. They will cut weak ties. They will close unprofitable businesses. They will withdraw from agreements where they have been underestimated for years. And it is after this that a new financial framework will begin to take shape. In the first half of the year, Libras will be able to dramatically increase their income by changing the format of their work. Some will leave their jobs to go into private practice. Some will set higher prices and will not apologize for it. Some will finally take a share of the profits that they previously left to others. Money will not come through luck. Money will come through tough decisions. In 2026, Libras will no longer be comfortable. This will bring results. The period from May to August will be particularly strong. That is when there will be a chance to embark on a long-term collaboration, sign a lucrative contract, or acquire a client who consistently pays large sums. For some Libras, real estate will be a good option. For others, it will be the sale of intellectual products, experience, systems, or methodologies. Anything that can be packaged, counted, and sold at a higher price will start to generate profit. Weak fluctuations will disappear. They will be replaced by a fixed price. That deserves a separate mention. 2026 gives Libras a chance to close out financial pressures, not to stretch them out, not to postpone them, to close them. Money that has been hanging around for a long time may return. They may give back what they have already given upon on. Resources for a large purchase may appear without fear and without a credit loop. This is the year when Libras learn to hold on to their money, not just to earn it, but to keep it. By autumn, the main thing will become clear. Libras will be among those who have quietly leveled their status and entered a more expansive league, without fanta, but with real results. Their growth will be noticeable in numbers, in things, in choices, in freedom. 2026 will not give them random gifts. It will give them more, the right to live without deprivation, forever. Leo. Next, I want to talk about the sign that will stop playing into someone else's growth in 2026. Leos born under this sign will suddenly see very clearly where their strength has been working for someone else's profit for years, and then everything will change, not dramatically on the outside, but dramatically on the inside. First, the habit of agreeing to conditions where there is a lot of responsibilities and too little money will disappear. Then there will be a sober review of relationships. Some Leos will close an old project after one phrase in the contract, where the fine print stated the other party's right to delay payment for up to 90 days. Someone will refuse a partner who speaks beautifully but misses the deadline 3 times and asks for another chance each time. This is where the real turnaround will begin. In 2026, their money will not be based on charisma, it will be based on control. on accuracy, on a very specific ability to see where resources are going. I noticed long ago that when a Leo stops proving their worth and simply names their price, the space begins to adjust. It will be the same here. In March or April, many Leos will have a conversation after which their old level of income will become impossible. It could be a dry meeting without unnecessary words. It could be a letter with new conditions. It could be a number in a table where it suddenly becomes clear that they were doing half the work but earning as much as a second-tier performer. Things like that are not forgotten. After that, there is no going back. The stronger thing for Leos will be the theme of personal branding, leadership, selling, expensive solutions, not small services. 2026 will bring to the top those who are ready to take on the difficult, not mass market, not cheap. Not for everyone. One Leo will raise the check after the client says without any haggling, "Okay, send me the bill." Another will realize that for years he has been selling hours when he should have been selling results. A third will enter a new niche through a seemingly random recommendation, but there will be no coincidence here. By this point, all their previous experience will have failed them. The year will show particularly harshly who is with them out of habit and who is with them because of their level. And this is also about money. Lions will begin to clean up the environment. Less talk, fewer rescue gestures, less involvement in other people's crises. Some people won't like it, but it is after this that time will be freed up for expensive decisions, strong clients, and large sums of money. Closer to autumn, it will become clear that their income is no longer fluctuating. It is settling into a pattern. For some, this will be a new position with real power. For others, it will be a contract for a year in advance. For some, it will be a purchase that they previously postponed due to an internal prohibition on living more lavishly. For Leos, 2026 is not about beautiful success. It is about money that no one else is allowed to take from their hands. Pisces, and another sign that made it onto this list is Pisces, not because they will suddenly get lucky, and not because someone at the top will decide to give them easy access to money. The mechanics are different here. In 2026, representatives of this sign will start to earn money from what they previously considered secondary, on their intuition, on the ability to read the weak points in people, in the market, in other people's decisions. Most people around them will still be talking in generalities, but Pisces will already see where one column in the estimate does not add up, where a partner is agreeing too hastily, where a client is asking something different from what they wrote in their letter. I am convinced that it is precisely these nuances that will begin to bring them large sums of money in 2026. At first, everything will seem mundane, a minor revision of plans, rejection of the superfluous, a pause before answering. But it is in this pause that Pisces will win. Someone will not sign the contract because they will see a strange line about the automatic renewal of services without a new price. Someone will not invest money where everyone else is rushing. Someone will stop cooperation in time after the third postponement of payment. Also, previously they would have dragged it out for another month. In 2026, Pisces will begin to trust words less. They will trust numbers, terms, actions, and the tone of the response more, and this will be a very mature turn. Money will flow through areas where brute force is not needed, but rather a keen sense of timing, consulting, creative products, working with people, launching your own service, selling something that has been sitting idle for a long time because it didn't have clear packaging. It is obvious to me that many Pisces underestimated their own ability to create valuable results from what others called just a skill. In 2026, this just will end. They will start counting, normally, calmly, without shame for the high price. One representative of the sign will raise the check after receiving 3 consecutive agreements in a week without bargaining. Another will realize that his time is more valuable when a client asks for a little more work without additional payment. The third will finally add up all the expenses for the year and see how much money went to waste due to the habit of living without a system. The most significant change will occur when Pisces stop saving everyone around them with their own resources. They will eliminate free participation. They will eliminate discounts because it's awkward to refuse. They will eliminate collaborations in which they are only approached when everything is already in crisis, and then the amount will begin to halt, not once, not in bits and Pisces, consistently. Closer to autumn, many Pisces will have a tangible reserve, not symbolic, one with which you can already plan a large purchase, investment, move, or new stage of work. The year 2026 will put them in a strong position, quietly, firmly, without any drama. One day it will simply turn out that Pisces are no longer living from paycheck to paycheck. Virgo. No less important will be the sign that almost never makes a fuss about its own money. Virgo. In 2026, representatives of this sign will not get rich because of a loud chance. Something else will work for them. A clear head, patience, the ability to see a weak spot where everyone else has nodded and moved on. This is what will give them a boost that will seem sudden from the outside, although in reality it has been a long time coming. I noticed long ago that when Virgos stop doubting their own calculations, everyone else around them very quickly starts to make mistakes. At first it will all come down to little things that most people are used to overlooking. One number in a report, a strange pause in the voice of a person who promises to pay later, an unnaturally broad gesture from a partner who agrees too easily to all conditions. Virgos will read this without discussing it, without making a scene. Just at some point, she will push the papers aside, open the spreadsheet, recalculate the amount, and see exactly where they try to drag her into an unfavorable situation. In 2026, this precision will turn into money, real money, big money, money that changes your life, not just your mood. For many Virgos, it will all start with a refusal of their old role, of a job where too much was expected of them, of a scheme in which they were used to saving the process while someone else took the main profit. One Virgo will end the collaboration after 4 months without a rate review. Another will pay attention to the phrase in the contract about additional duties as needed and immediately remove it from the document. Someone else will stop silently correcting other people's mistakes when they see how many hours and how much money are wasted on this habit. This is not pettiness. This is the moment when a person begins to conserve their resources the way strong people do. 2026 will work best where order, analytics, systems, and long distances are needed. Finance, administration, consulting, your own business, which previously stalled not because of a weak product, but because of vague rules. It is obvious to me. Only Virgos are able to see that it is not the crisis that eats away at profits but disorder. The market is not to blame. The lack of boundaries is to blame. Discounts to the wrong people are to blame. Deadlines that no one records in writing are to blame. In 2026, representatives of this sign will begin to correct this without regret. And as soon as there is less chaos in their work, the amount in their account will go up. Another thing is important. Virgos will learn not only to earn, but also to save, without impulsive spending, which then has to be covered in a hurry, without ostentatious purchases, without the habit of rewarding themselves with money for their fatigue. Closer to the second half of the year, many will have something they haven't had in a long time: savings. Not a random leftover amount, but savings that give peace of mind in decisions. That is when the opportunity for a serious step will open up: investments, purchases, relocation, launching a new direction. For Virgos, 2026 will not be a beautiful story about luck. It will be harsh proof that discipline also brings big money, and very often faster than talent.